Hey guys, it's me, Divination Nation. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm just throwing this video out there. Don't have a lot planned for it. I'm kind of just thinking maybe some things will come to me as I go along. I have been just thinking about a few things since the last video. I know I talked a little bit about the psyche, and I guess the one thing that I have in mind to share is really that I had gone through a lot of internal searching, if you will, to try to understand something that I was going through and some of the ways that people were impacting me that I am close with. So I had gotten into just listening to a few different folks, and this may not surprise you, but I mean, there's a lot out there right now on narcissism. It's like a buzzword, but I don't. I like getting into the research on things, and so I happened to come across a couple folks that were really getting into the depth of the details on narcissistic personality disorder and what that actually entails, what that means. I am in no way, shape, or form close to being able to diagnose someone by any stretch of the imagination. But I think what I found was that I was able to describe my situation or understand it more in my mind as others were describing certain types of behaviors and those sorts of things that sometimes impact us. And so again, I realized that I'm in no way able to diagnose someone, but I am able to try to understand more how I feel and how I'm being impacted. And so I found that there was information there that seemed to be helpful to me. And part of what I found is that not only are the people who perpetrate that type of abuse, which there was a term coined narcissistic abuse by a man named Sam Vaknin, who is himself a self-described and even conceivably diagnosed. He's brilliant, self-diagnosed as a narcissist. And he's fascinating to listen to. His first name is Sam, last name is Vaknin, and he coined that term, and he's done a lot of work on it, and he's out there on YouTube, putting videos out to share that information with us. And then another fellow that had been working separately, but then they found that they have a common theme and common understanding, if you will, on the topic, is a guy named Richard Grannon, Grannon, and he's on YouTube, and he talks a lot about complex PTSD. And so some of these people who are possibly narcissists, or even further and more deeply have narcissistic personality disorder, have suffered from incredible trauma. And so Richard tries to help tackle that. And he also seems to be attentive to the trauma that victims have gone through. And so that is sort of another piece of the backdrop for me. I guess, on trying to, I realized through their work that I had some traumas that I needed to attend to, and they have maybe a different or prescribe a different method for attending to those to a certain extent. But I felt that jumping on YouTube and kind of chronicling was sort of my own way, my own method to working through some of the trauma that I feel that I've had from dealing with people who, in my mind, exhibit plenty of those traits of the person with narcissistic personality disorder. So that's just another piece of the puzzle, and sort of how I ended up even coming on to talk with you guys, because it's real life stuff, right? It's all of this stuff. It's the crabgrass. I don't go back if you want to video number 3 towards the end, but that's the crabgrass that takes root, and then it grows tentacles, and then we are responding in ways that we don't really understand why we're responding that way, I guess, until we realize or decide to sort of pick up that tentacle and say, hey, like, you're not going to actually get to root here, and just keep picking up those tentacles. And so I guess jumping on YouTube has been a way for me to hopefully uproot the crabgrass faster than I would have done had I continued on my current path, which I'm still on. I've just added sharing my story on YouTube, but I'll stop there and then start and say it's been helpful. It actually has been liberating in a way to be able to say, hey, listen, I have a story, I can tell it, maybe it can help someone, maybe it'll help me work through some of my traumas, maybe even faster than I would have done otherwise. And then I've also had the opportunity to look back on some of my videos and say, hey, like, you're all right. I'm learning to love my past self, which, because I shy away from cameras and videos and those sorts of things, but it gives you a different perspective. Okay, maybe I'm not gonna, whatever, they're just things that I'm not gonna like about it. But I'm finding that there are things that I really do like about it. And I think that it's helping me enough to be able to say, okay, this makes sense for me. So yeah, that's part of the backdrop of how I even got to video number 1, to be up at 3:00 in the morning and just with what turned out to be pneumonia, and just get on and say, I'm starting this process. I'm not waiting any longer. And so I'm really glad that I did. Anyway, I guess I was going to try to do this live because I do definitely want to be able to be interactive with folks. I'm a people person, so maybe that would be fun for me. And then maybe also sort of open up the conversation when maybe I'm not, I have nothing else or whatever. You guys can bring something into it. And I guess I need 1,000 subscribers to go live, and I don't know if I'll ever see that many subscribers. But maybe if I do and I get there, I'll go live. And in the short term, I guess I'll also say that I've had some really nice comments from people, and I really appreciate that. I do want to let everybody know that I appreciate the support. And And I think one other piece that was sort of lingering for me was the psychic vampirism piece that sort of came in tangentially as I was working in sort of regular, normal psychology type stuff to understand what was going on. And I think the psychic vampirism piece was really intriguing to me, and it really made me understand how much people can. Well, we already knew this, I think. We already knew that people, sometimes we just get that feeling. Somebody just doesn't, you walk away and you go, wow, that was draining, or that was, I don't know what it was, but it just didn't feel good. And, it's a gut feeling, it's an instinctual feeling, it's an energy, it's an actual energy feeling. And so when I started to get into that a little bit more about psychic vampirism and realize how much some of these personalities and these, I wouldn't even say that they all fall under a certain personality type. I would just say that it's an energy type. Are you an energy sucker? Are you an energy dumper? Are you thoughtful about how you impact people with your with the energy that you're putting forward? One thing that I've learned about a bit more, which I used to do a lot of voice projection, and because when I get really excited about something, I'll just throw my voice in there a little bit higher or stronger. I didn't really even know that I was doing it. And then it happened in a conversation with a friend of mine, and really close friend, like love her dearly. And I couldn't say enough about how much I care about her. And she felt that I was being, I was dominating with the projection of my voice. And I realized that I was actually negatively impacting people in my life by using voice projection. Even if I am passionate, especially when I'm passionate, I have to be extremely thoughtful about how I'm choosing to verbalize and how I'm choosing to emote, so that I'm not actually dumping on someone, so that they don't feel like I'm somehow putting my energy or something onto them. So I think we all have the capability of being vampiristic, if you will, or dumpers. I mean, vampirism is both sucking energy and dumping energy. It does the same thing. It actually drains the other person. So I think we all have the capability of doing that. But then in further exploration as well, I realized that I had to get better about creating the boundaries around the people that I felt were vampiristic towards me. And sometimes I think we almost, people who have a big heart, maybe even people who grew up not learning how to have boundaries with people. I think there's probably a handful of things we could say about the people who are easy prey and easy targets for the vampiristic type of person. And I'll just say that I realize that I'm one of those people. And I had to get into my 40s to understand that I really needed to get with a program on creating boundaries. And then when I started to do it, hey, that's not going to be easy, because all of those people in your life that you gave them everything you had, and you didn't have those healthy boundaries for yourself. When you start doing that, they don't like it. They really don't like it. And so it's okay to verbalize and say, hey, listen, I realize that this is actually too taxing for me. I realize that I actually have to have a boundary here in order for me to be able to continue to function and be able to give in a way that doesn't absolutely drain me. So it was actually, it wasn't funny. It was hard. I look back and I chuckle now because of the people, the people that I love that I had to do. I really love my team that I had to do that with, and how we ended up kind of coming out stronger in the long haul. But so some of that isn't easy. Some of it is hard, but it's worth it. It was worth it for me anyway. And then I guess that's the maybe take home, is that if, I don't know, because I feel like if it actually was good for me, that if you're feeling like you're the kind of person that might be, I mean, you mean well, you have a big heart, you would do anything for anyone, all of those things, it just is okay to take another look at that and see if there are specific people that you need to set up a new boundary with. It doesn't mean they can't be in your life. I mean, some of them might, it's actually better if they're not in your life. That's the truth. And that's actually the hard part, when you have to make that decision. But when you create boundaries with people that you love and they love you too, it works out. I'm here to say it definitely works out. Well, I wish I had you guys on here for some live chat comments, because I feel like this would be sort of a hot topic, if you will, because I feel like this is something that everyone experiences. Yeah, and I think it's important to take a look at it. And I think one of the pieces that I also came away with was all of those times that I told my kids, listen to your gut, trust your instincts. Don't just say, I'm just making something out of nothing. No, if you're feeling it, pay attention to it. And it's okay to do that. It is okay to say, I just have a feeling about this. Because actually that's probably our best radar, above and beyond sort of being logical and all of I talked about in video number 3, the indoctrination and different things that we go through as we're coming up. And, that can actually impact our logical thinking around, around things. So you maybe I don't want to allow logic to be sort of the primary decision maker. I'm kind of feeling my way into things more now than I ever have, and also sharing that message with my kids more, so that they can kind of feel into things themselves. So I hope I'm not messing up the audio this time. I know sometimes I get a little quiet. I do have to get headphones or something that would make this a little easier for you guys to hear. And so yeah, I'm not in my comfy chair tonight. I decided to get a little uncomfortable, maybe, and just to kind of change it up a little bit. So I don't know if it helped, but anyway, again, I just wish I could I could see comments right now or talk to you guys. That would be fun. So hopefully maybe in the future, I don't know, maybe they'll just let me pay. I don't think I'll ever get to 1,000 subscribers. Maybe I have to pay a little extra something, to get be able to talk with you guys. Anyway, all right, I'm going to go ahead and say goodnight, and I love you, and I look forward to jumping on again. Oops. I look forward to jumping on again with you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.